Welcome to part 42 of the Ultimate Unsolved Mysteries Iceberg, where we explore true crime, urban legends, mysterious disappearances, myths and legends, internet mysteries, and more. Also, make sure to hit that notification bell since I drop new content all the time. The Alcatraz Escape. Alcatraz Island is located in the chilly waters of San Francisco Bay, and the prison named Alcatraz was famed for its high security, which included strict routines and rigorous checks. Alcatraz had been mythologized to the public as an inescapable prison for offenders who simply cannot be safely locked up anywhere else. This mythology surrounding Alcatraz is a significant part of why the escape captured so much attention, both from law enforcement and the public. 3 inmates, Frank Morris, and brothers John and Clarence Anglin, escaped, igniting decades of debate and mystery surrounding their fate. Frank Morris was born in Washington, D.C., and had a troubled upbringing, spending most of his childhood in foster homes. He embarked on a life of crime early, engaging in burglary, armed robbery, and dealing in substances. Known for his high intelligence, Morris had an IQ in the top 2% of the general population. Also, and I neglected to mention this earlier, his criminal record also included numerous escapes from various prisons, which eventually landed him in Alcatraz. John and Clarence Anglin, brothers from Georgia, also had extensive criminal backgrounds. They grew up in a poor family of seasonal farm workers and began robbing banks together at a young age. And hey, if you can't trust your bro to have your back, who can you really trust? Their criminal activities led to multiple arrests and imprisonments. The brothers were known for their strong familial bond, which played a crucial role in their collaborative escape efforts. At Alcatraz, they were placed in adjacent cells, which facilitated their communication and planning. Also, I have a question for the management of the prison. You get 2 brothers incarcerated in your prison who are known for working together in their criminal enterprises. In what world does the warden think, hey, these 2 should be placed right beside each other? I assume this was simple hubris by the prison staff brought on by the fearsome, inescapable reputation of the prison. However, on the night of June 11th, 1962, Morris and the Anglin brothers executed an ingeniously planned escape. They had spent months digging through their cell walls using tools improvised from discarded materials like spoons and an electric drill made from a vacuum cleaner motor. Behind their cells lay an unguarded utility corridor, which provided a path to the prison roof. Disguising their absence with dummy heads crafted from a mixture of soap, toilet paper, and concrete dust, the trio managed to avoid detection during nightly head counts. Once out of their cells, they ascended to the building's roof, descended 50 feet to the ground, and made their way to a blind spot near the power plant on the northeast shore. There they launched a makeshift raft, ingeniously crafted from over 50 stolen raincoats, which they had fashioned into life preservers, and a raft, sealing the seams with heat from steam pipes. They set off into the night towards Angel Island, propelled by paddles they had also crafted themselves. The escape was not discovered until the following morning, thanks to the dummy head trick. An extensive manhunt ensued involving multiple agencies, including the Coast Guard and the FBI. Despite the recovery of items like a paddle and life vests near Angel Island, and personal effects wrapped in plastic, the fate of the escapees remained a mystery. No conclusive evidence was found on Angel Island or the surrounding areas that could definitively confirm their survival or demise. The FBI's investigation concluded in 1979, with the case transferred to the U.S. Marshals, who keep it open to this day. The official stance remains that the harsh conditions of the cold, turbulent waters of San Francisco Bay likely claimed the lives of the escapees that night. Further, others have observed that the waters are infested with sharks, which may have made a meal of the escapees. Notably, the presence of shark-infested waters surrounding Alcatraz Island is one more of the so-called security measures associated with the island, again adding to the mythology. No bodies were ever recovered, leaving significant room for speculation and alternate theories to arise. Relatives of the Anglins have maintained that the brothers survived, bolstered by anecdotal evidence, and a photograph purportedly showing the brothers in Brazil years later. This photo, however, has been contested by experts who question the claims associated with it, due to the inability to perform proper and effective facial recognition analysis. Notably, with technological advances, I suspect that facial recognition technology will one day be able to identify if either of these men is one of the Anglins. If one is identified as an Anglin, this would be considered circumstantial evidence that the men escaped. Further, the Alcatraz escape has become deeply ingrained in popular culture, symbolizing the human spirit's relentless pursuit of freedom, regardless of the odds. I also note that the story has been able to capture the sort of cultural currency it has, partly due to the individuals involved in the escape from Alcatraz. Most of the Alcatraz prisoners were locked up there for offenses, which ended others without their consent. Had any of the three men been these sorts of wrongdoers, I suspect the escape would not be looked upon favorably by anyone. While the three men were no angels by any means, they also very clearly weren't the worst of the worst. The legacy of the escape endures, not only in the myriad documentaries and films, but also in the Escape from Alcatraz triathlon, which includes a swim from the island to San Francisco. For now, we are left with a simple question. Did Morris and the Anglin brothers perish in the bay, or did they manage to start anew under the radar? This question may never be fully answered, but it continues to fascinate and challenge, much like the indomitable will of those who dare to break free. Also, before we move on, it's popularly believed that this was the only potentially successful escape from Alcatraz. However, this is not true. In 1937, two prisoners, Theodore Cole and Ralph Rowe, escaped, and there's a subsequent mystery surrounding them. But that's a mystery for a later portion of this series. The Disappearance of Cho Hee-pal. Cho Hee-pal, known as one of South Korea's most infamous fraudsters, vanished in December 2011, leaving a trail of speculation, theories, and unanswered questions. Cho Hee-pal was the mastermind behind one of South Korea's largest pyramid schemes. From 2004 to 2008, he defrauded over 40,000 people out of the equivalent of $3.5 billion American, promising high returns on investments in bogus ventures. His operation was vast and well orchestrated, attracting investments from unsuspecting individuals across the country. In 2008, when the scheme collapsed, Cho became a wanted man. Facing mounting legal pressure and an impending arrest, he fled, sparking a nationwide manhunt. His ability to evade capture, despite widespread media coverage and law enforcement efforts, only added to his mystique of his case. Cho's disappearance occurred under highly suspicious circumstances. In late 2011, it was reported that he had been hiding in China, moving frequently to avoid capture. The South Korean authorities were on his trail, working with Chinese law enforcement to apprehend him. However, there was suspicion in South Korea that Cho may have greased the palms of officials in China. However, I could not find any evidence to support this in English-language sources. However, in December 2011, news broke that Cho had been suffering from a serious illness. Reports from his associates suggested that he was seeking medical treatment in various locations, further complicating efforts to track him down. It was during this period of medical instability that Cho fully disappeared. The absence of concrete evidence about Cho's whereabouts has led to numerous theories about his fate. One popular theory suggests that he used his extensive network and financial resources to create a new identity. This theory is supported by accounts from former associates who claim that Cho had planned his disappearance in advance, knowing that his capture would be inevitable otherwise. Another theory posits that Cho may have leveraged his connections in China to disappear into the country's vast landscape. This theory assumes he is living under the protection of corrupt officials who benefited from his financial schemes. This theory is bolstered circumstantially by the fact that several high-profile fugitives have previously found refuge in similar circumstances. However, as I previously stated in my review of English language sources, there was no evidence that this was actually the case. Cho Hee-pal's disappearance has had a profound impact on his victims and the South Korean public. Families and individuals who lost their life savings in his pyramid scheme have been left with deep financial scars. Notably, numerous individuals, having lost not only personal wealth, but wealth built up over the generations, ended themselves, compounding the tragedy. To this day, Cho Hee-pal remains one of South Korea's most wanted individuals. What's up, everyone? It's your boy Jimmy here, with a couple of things to ask of you. If you're enjoying my content, please hit the like and subscribe buttons, and the notification bell. Also, I release content very regularly, so I can't emphasize this enough. Ring the bell and turn on all notifications so you're never behind on this series. Also, if you really want to take it to the next level, please consider signing up for a YouTube membership or a Patreon membership. You can support for as little as 99 cents a month. The Merry Man. In the desolate expanses of South Australia lies one of modern Australia's most intriguing mysteries, the Merry Man. Discovered in 1998 near the small town of Merry, this geoglyph depicts a large figure of an Indigenous Australian man. This figure is etched into the ground and is stretching approximately 1.7 miles in height and extending over an area of 620 acres. The origins and purposes of this massive desert drawing remain unsolved, captivating both locals and the global community alike. Originally, the Merry Man was thought to be the largest pre-modern geoglyph ever found, with some theorizing it was an ancient Australian Aboriginal creation. However, for the reasons discussed within, this is not possible. The Merry Man was first spotted by a pilot, and its existence quickly became public knowledge through a series of anonymous faxes sent to media outlets and local businesses. These faxes intriguingly utilized non-Australian measurements and phrases, suggesting the involvement of foreigners, possibly Americans. Furthermore, a small plaque featuring an American flag and Olympic rings was discovered near the site, adding to the international mystery. Theories regarding the creator of the Merry Man are diverse. Notably, the Merry Man is virtually identical to the famous Artemisian bronze, with the major difference being that the Merry Man is holding a boomerang. Some locals believe it was a stunt to boost tourism, as the Merry Man drew significant visitor numbers to the area. Others speculate on the involvement of Bardius Goldberg, an artist known for his interest in large-scale works visible from space. However, he passed away in 2002 and never confirmed nor denied his involvement before his passing. Notably, the satellite data indicates that the image was created between May 27, 1998 and June 12, 1998, with the entire work being completed in this short period. Notably, there are no satellite images of the area within this period, so it is unclear how many days this creation took. Notably, there is also speculation about the involvement of military personnel from nearby bases, perhaps as a form of artistic expression or prank. The physical existence of the Merry Man has been threatened by natural erosion over the years. Concerns about its disappearance led to local efforts to preserve the figure. In 2016, With the permission of the Erebana Aboriginal Corporation, a restoration project was undertaken using a grater to retrace the lines of the geoglyph. This local initiative aimed not only to preserve the figure but also to enhance its longevity by encouraging the growth of vegetation within the etched lines. Despite ongoing interest and occasional restoration efforts, the true story behind the Merry Man remains a tantalizing puzzle. The Boiling River. The Boiling River, known locally as Shanai Timpishka, which translates to boiled by the heat of the sun, is one of the Amazon's most intriguing natural phenomena. This river, running through the Peruvian Amazon, is notable for its extremely high temperatures, which can reach nearly 212 degrees Fahrenheit, virtually boiling. Unlike other geothermal systems around the world, the Boiling River's heat is not derived from volcanic activity. Instead, it is believed to be heated by geothermal energy due to the Earth's heat, as rainwater seeps deep into the ground and heats up, eventually emerging as the scalding waters. The river stretches for about 4 miles and is part of a larger river system that flows into the Pachitea and Ucayali rivers, eventually joining the Amazon. At its deepest point, the river can be up to 19 feet deep, and it can reach widths of up to 82 feet. This thermal river is not just a natural curiosity, but also holds cultural significance. Local shamans view the river as sacred, guarded by the spirit Yakumama, a giant serpent that is revered as the mother of the waters. The mysteries surrounding the Boiling River have captivated scientists and adventurers alike. Geoscientist Andres Russo first heard about the river from his grandfather's tales and later confirmed its existence during expeditions in 2011. The river's location, deep in the Peruvian rainforest, 3 hours from the nearest city, adds to its allure and mystique. Efforts are underway to protect this unique ecosystem as the area faces threats from deforestation and oil extraction activities. While this mystery is essentially solved, the Boiling River is often presented as a mystical phenomenon. The Raining Animals Phenomenon. The raining animals phenomenon is one of the more bizarre and inexplicable meteorological occurrences, captivating both scientists and the general public for centuries. This unusual event involves mostly flightless animals, but also animals such as fish, frogs, and even more peculiarly, spiders and bats, falling from the sky during or following rainstorms. Historically, reports of animal rain date back to ancient civilizations, with documented instances occurring globally. These include occurrences of fish in India and Nigeria, frogs in Japan and Hungary, spiders in Brazil and Australia, jellyfish in the UK, and octopuses and starfish in China. The prevailing scientific theory behind this phenomenon is related to tornadic waterspouts, a tornado that forms over the water. They can be powerful enough to lift objects, including small animals like fish and frogs, high into the atmosphere. When the waterspouts travel over land and lose their energy, the animals are dropped back to the ground, sometimes miles away from their original location. This theory is supported by numerous meteorological studies and provides a plausible explanation for how these animals can rain from the sky. Despite this seemingly logical explanation, the raining animals phenomenon continues to baffle and fascinate. In some cases, other factors may contribute, such as birds dropping fish. In Texarkana, Texas, in 2021, there was speculation that birds might have regurgitated fish, leading to a rain of fish witnessed on the ground. This was partly based on observations of birds in the area at the time. The phenomenon has also been observed with animals that are less likely to be caught in waterspouts, such as bats in Australia. This suggests that other environmental or biological factors may play a role. For instance, in hot weather conditions, bats have been known to fall from the sky due to heat stress. Ultimately, while tornado waterspouts provide a solid scientific basis for many instances of raining animals, each event carries its own unique set of circumstances that can sometimes stretch the bounds of our understanding of the natural world. As research continues and more events are documented, the scientific community hopes to uncover further details about this peculiar weather phenomenon. Personally, I consider this case much like the case of ball lightning, where it is both an extremely weird and well documented occurrence, with no universal theory to explain the phenomenon. Nail Baah, one of India's most intriguing urban legends. Nail Baah roughly translates to "come tomorrow." Nail Baah's origins trace back to the 1990s in Bangalore, Karnataka, though research has indicated that this is when the concept achieved virality. It is suggested that the urban legend is much older than that. The legend centers around an alleged spirit, often referred to as a witch or ghost, that supposedly roamed the streets of Bangalore. According to local folklore, this spirit knocks on doors at night, mimicking the voices of loved ones to lure residents outside. If the individual responds, it is said that they will meet their end through coughing up blood. To counter this eerie presence, the residents came up with a clever solution. They wrote "Nail Baah" on their doors, advising the spirit to come back the next day, a tactic that they believed would keep it at bay. This practice reportedly started on April 1st, making some think it was an elaborate April Fool's joke, yet it persisted and grew into a widespread ritual observed annually. This tale has been passed down through generations, morphing with each retelling. Some believe the story began as a way to explain unexplainable or unfortunate events, or as a method to enforce a curfew subtly. Others think it could have been sparked by a real event that got tangled in superstitious interpretations as it was retold. What adds to the mystery is the lack of concrete evidence or documentation about the spirit, turning Nail Baah into a modern urban legend, ripe for speculation and intrigue. Moving beyond the origins, various stories associated with Nail Baah have fueled its status as a cultural phenomenon. One account suggests that the witch targeted only certain neighborhoods, particularly those that were less populated or had more vulnerable residents. This aspect of the story highlights societal fears about safety and the unknown. Another version claims that the spirit sought revenge, allegedly wronged by villagers in her lifetime, echoing themes of injustice and retribution found in many ghost stories across cultures. Theories about what really happened during the height of the fear range from the rational to the supernatural. Skeptics argue that the tale could be a psychological manifestation of the collective fear experienced by the community. Essentially, their argument is that this is yet another case of mass hysteria, manifesting in yet another unique way in another unique location. In support of this, in times of uncertainty, such as during disease outbreaks or economic hardships, societies often seek explanations in folklore to regain some sense of control. Another theory posits that the story was encouraged by local authorities to keep people indoors during a period of civil unrest or a significant crime wave, using folklore as a tool of control. Whether one sees it as a mere tale to scare children or a significant cultural artifact, Nail Baah has left an indelible mark on the cultural fabric of India. Notably, the concept was developed into a Bollywood film in 2018, with a sequel slated for release later this year. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell if you haven't done so already. As usual, I love you all and thank you all for your support. I really appreciate how many of you have come to enjoy my content. Shout out to my patrons Noah Schubert, Iced Mocha, Kurt the Squirt, Monoxide Wendigo, Jeffer Metcalf, Z Volts, Director Delta, Unknown Delusions, Faye, Jack Russell, boomslang, and blasphemous. Big shout out to YouTube members Jordan All and Lowlife Baphomet. Until next time, stay safe and healthy. Peace out, everyone.